Hello, hello, ETBU Tiger fans. We are back here on the ETBU Plus Network, and we are at week number 5. And today, a little bit of a switcheroo. We have head volleyball coach Mallory Matthews here. The ETBU Tiger volleyball team is sitting at 15-0. So, Coach, before we dive into all of the logistics, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. So you guys are coming off of big road wins against HSU and HPU, and you're undefeated still. You're ranked number 2 nationally, highest ranking that you guys have ever had in program history. Has that really sunk in, or are you just kind of like, it's all business, we got to move to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next week?
Yeah, we definitely try to celebrate as those things happen, but also trying to stay focused. We have to make sure that we are focused on our next game, our next opponent, and being ready for that, but also letting our girls celebrate a little bit that we are making some history this year, and I'm really proud of them for that. So, there's some days where we get the number 2 ranking, and instead of regular warm-up, we get to do a fun warm-up and stuff like that. So trying to live in the moment for sure, but being ready for our next opponent.
And so how hard has it been to focus on the goal at hand, but then also you've got all of these different now expectations of we're number 2 ranked nationally, we're still undefeated. Has it really been hard to kind of get your team to gear in for the next opponent, or how have they handled that so far?
I think they've handled it great, to be honest. Our first goal, first and foremost, is to put Jesus first and show people who Jesus Christ is. And so they know that is their first goal, first and foremost. Before winning, before anything comes with that, we want people to see us play with joy, joy for the Lord. And that's why we play, and that's how we can play. And so I think since we've kept that as our very highest goal that we have, it's made it easy to kind of keep our heads on straight and make sure that we stay focused, knowing that that's our ultimate goal. And then I think winning comes along with that, knowing that they're giving their all, they're doing the things on and off the court. So I think they've done a really good job of staying level-headed. I think at the beginning of the season, we really talked about how we're going to be able to handle the pressure of having the expectation, right? And so making sure that we can just keep a level head and know ultimately what our goal and what we've set out to do is to share our love for Jesus, and we really believe wins come along with that. Absolutely.
And so you have, speaking of your team, you've got a great balance of, you've got your veterans, a largely veteran squad, but then you have some freshmen that have come in and have really made a huge impact on what you guys have done. So can you talk to me about how your older players have impacted your younger players, and what kind of role they've had and what kind of impact they've had on your program so far?
Yeah, we've got a great leadership group. We've got a great group of seniors. We've just got a great group of upperclassmen in general that have done a really good job for the past 3 seasons before now to get us to where we are. We've got a group of leaders that hold us accountable. They tell each other when it's not okay, which is a good thing, and they do it in a nice and loving way. But they also know what our goals are. Our girls talk about goals every single day. We do reflections every Monday of kind of where we're at within our goals, where we're at just as a team, and we talk about those out loud. And so our leadership has just done a phenomenal job of helping the freshmen kind of get to where they are now. At the beginning, when you are a freshman coming into a very veteran team, it's intimidating, and so we're getting to see the freshmen come out of their shells a whole lot more now, which has been really exciting. And our upperclassmen have just been so welcoming and have done a great job of just leading them into our culture and how we do things.
Absolutely. And so one of the other challenges for this year, you guys have only had 4 games at home.
Yes.
The rest of them have been on the road. How have your players adjusted to that sort of challenge?
Yeah.
With 9 of your, or rather now at this point, 11 of your 15 matches away from ETBU.
Yeah. Well, we are so excited to come home next week. I do know that. We're on the road one more week. But, We always kind of feel like it's a home game because our bench is stellar.
Wow.
We have the best bench. I would put our bench up against anybody in the nation. They have fun. They're engaged. They're always doing cheers. They have specific cheers for specific things and specific people. And so they always make the atmosphere good, whether we're at home or not. But being on the road, like, you do have to have a different mentality. You're in somebody else's gym that they're in every single day practicing. And so our backs are up against the wall a little bit. And so just kind of having the mentality of, it doesn't matter where we're at, neutral, home or away, whatever it is, like, we go in with the same mindset every single time. And our girls do know that they get a sweet surprise of being home for a whole month. So it's worth being on the road.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys are going to be at home for, I believe it's 7 straight matches or something like that. So that's going to feel good for you guys for sure, especially heading into to conference play. But but speaking of which, you guys, as you're heading into conference play and as kind of the end of the season, the playoff tournament kind of starts to, come up around the corner, has it been difficult for you guys to kind of has it been tempting to look too far ahead at, is the playoff tournament's on the way, or has it been easier for you guys to just lock into your next opponent and things of that nature?
Yeah. At the beginning of the year, obviously you're always talking about like where you want to finish, where we want to be. But as a team, like I said, we kind of reflect every week and talk about where we are at and what we're looking at that next week. And something that we really try to focus on, even going into a weekend where we're like this weekend, we're playing 3 opponents. We're only focused on our first opponent right now. We will get to the next opponent when that first game is over. And so we try to do a really good job of just making sure we are fully focused on the very next game rather than the long-term goal. We still talk about those long-term goals all the time. But if we don't focus on the short-term stuff, we're never going to get to that long-term stuff. And so we try to make sure that we are just focused on the game that's at hand.
Absolutely. And so you guys have a ton of talent. Just going back to your team just really quickly here. Ton of talent. You've got several players who have already made a name for themselves in the ETBU record books as we speak. How have you been able to put all of that talent together to have not only a cohesive team, but a very successful team, and a team that has national championship aspirations? Because I feel like for a lot of teams, the more talent you have, individually, it's great, but it's hard to put all that together. But you have have been able to put all of that together. So how have you been able to do that with this team?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a ton of talented players. This is the most talented team we have ever had at ETBU, in my opinion, and so that has been great. Another thing, though, that with this team, like, yes, they have talent, but they have heart, and there's some times where we maybe are not the most physical team. We might not be the tallest team, for sure, but they have a lot of heart, and they're the best team out there, just because of who they are, like, on and off the court. I think that's played a really big piece into who we are as a team. They put their all into our discipleships, into community service, into all of those things that are off the court where we can have those team bonding opportunities, which I think has led to a lot of just the success on the court and their cohesiveness on the court. Obviously, we have to have talent, and I know we have a lot of talented players, but at the end of the day, they support each other. They're there for each other, and even the girls who maybe aren't getting the playing time, they're good enough to be getting the playing time, and they are pushing our team every single day, day in and day out, and I think that's why we've been able to be so successful this year.
That's amazing. That's amazing to hear for sure. And then just kind of looking at, the entire makeup of how this season has gone, and ever since you've stepped into that head coaching role here at ETBU, it's only gone up. And so what I wanted to know is, what was the thing that really kind of got you into coaching volleyball to begin with? And I look at the record books and I say, oh, wow, like Mallory's top 5 in kills all time. I think it's a little over 1,300 for your career. So just kind of talk to me about what got you into the coaching atmosphere? What kind of started you down that road?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a passion for volleyball. I have always been passionate about leading and leading a team in the right direction. And, when I first got to college, I knew I always wanted to coach, but I actually didn't start with my major as wanting to coach. I went in to be an occupational therapist, and first semester happened, and I went into my coach's office, and I was crying, and I was like, I want to change my major. I want to be a coach. And she was like, I knew it. And so ever since then, just having my sight set on that, and just leading a group of girls to be better women, to graduate from college, some of them to get the first degree in their family. That's really exciting to me. I love developing women. I love investing in their lives. I always tell kids, like, you are not just my kid for 4 years. You're my kid for life. And I want a relationship beyond the 4 years that they play for me. No matter if it's 1, 2, 3, 4 years, like, it doesn't matter to me. I want to build that relationship and cultivate that bond that you can have in college athletics, which I think is so special. So to me, I think I really wanted to get into it for that, to help just be a small part in somebody's life. And if that leads to them knowing who Jesus is, I mean, how amazing is that? And, my goals have really changed over the years of coaching from the beginning until now, and like what's really important, which I think has led to the success and just everything that our team has done. But yeah, I mean, I've always just had a passion for volleyball and a passion for investing in people's lives.
Absolutely, and that's awesome. And so last couple questions here before we let you wrap it up is, you have All-American and Gracie Mosley. She has been fantastic, and she has really made a name for herself. I mean, 71 double-doubles for her career is just amazing. So talk to me about how has it been coaching someone with that level of talent and looking at how it's impacted your team. Is that an easy task? Is it a difficult task? Because you know that when someone has that level of talent, that they kind of command like their own kind of presence among the team. How's that dynamic been for you?
Yeah, I mean, Gracie is a phenomenal player. She's also a phenomenal person, which helps. Great leader for our team. She always used to say at the beginning of her career, she's like, I'm chasing your numbers. Well, she's well surpassed them. She is a much better player than I ever was. And she's just phenomenal. But I think what makes it so easy to coach her is just how humble she is, and what a great leader she is, and what a great team first mentality that she has. She is great. She typically leads us in every single game in kills and has a great amount of digs, and just does a great job all the way around. But ultimately, she cares about us winning as a team, and she is someone that the girls know they can go to. She's someone that their girls know are going to hold them accountable. She's kind of got the whole package, and so she makes it really easy to coach her, to be honest.
That's amazing. And so thank you once again for your time. I know you've got an insane schedule. You want to keep that undefeated streak going, and we're definitely all rooting for the ETBU volleyball team big time as you guys head into conference play and beyond.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And so ETBU volleyball will be hitting the road. They are traveling to Georgia, and then they'll be back at home on October 9th for one of the first 7 home matches that they're going to have to close out the month of October heading into the playoff tournament. So stay tuned for that. Don't go anywhere. We're going to switch gears to ETBU football here on the ETBU Plus Network, guys. So stay tuned.
Boy, Hunter, that beef looks good. Don't they know we've been smoking for over 75 years? And we serve barbecue every Saturday.
I reckon they ain't thought about that till now.
He ain't quite ready yet. Y'all come back here. You're next.
At High Horse, we've got a little something for everyone.
Great food served with a heaping helping of our hospitality.
High Horse, 1898.
In the heart of downtown Marshall.
righty, folks. We're back on the ETBU Plus Network, and we're back with a familiar face, head ETBU football coach Calvin Ruzicka. And, Coach, we're in week 5, and it's hard to believe. I feel like we've been doing this for a while.
It's
but
amazing. Midterms are almost here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so you guys still undefeated. We spoke with volleyball, one undefeated team to the next. You guys are sitting at 4-0 for the first time since 2016. But before we get into all that, how do you like the new setup? I mean, we're in a different part of the
Well, I'm just
Bear
so
Creek
thankful
Smokehouse.
that Bear Creek wants to sponsor ETBU athletics this year, and it's a blessing to come out here each week and get to see some familiar faces and some new ones. So we're just glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so you guys came up with a big win over Texas Lutheran, 24-21. And the big reason that you guys were able to close that out was because of your kicker, Mitchell White, able to close it out and give you guys a 24-14 lead. That ended up being the difference in the ball game for you guys because TLU was threatening in the last minute or so, 54 seconds, to close that game out, and you guys were able to handle that well. How do you evaluate how your team did during that particular time in the game?
Very proud of them, coaches and players both. I knew that was going to be a 4-quarter ball game. It always is against TLU. They're extremely well coached. Coach LaHue and his staff do a phenomenal job, and it's always been battles whenever we played, whether it was in Seguin or home. So I knew it was going to be a tough ball game for us, which it was. Really proud of the offense and the way they were controlling the line of scrimmage, rushing for plus 200 yards again. And Paul had him another phenomenal day running the ball over 100 yards in his efforts. Defense, getting after him with some sacks and putting them in some third and long situations was big. Mitchell kicking that field goal was a difference. You know, he's just a freshman, but he's really performing like an upperclassman. So it was a all-around team effort to come home with a win.
Yeah, and so now I feel like you guys, within just these first 4 games, have been able to win under almost every circumstance that you could think of. There's been, shutouts, 28-0. There's been the blowouts, the 47-8s. And then there's been the barn burners where it's 50-33. And then this one, just a 3-point win. Do you think that in these first 4 games, you guys are learning how to win in multiple ways? Would that be your evaluation?
100% agree with that. First of all, I think we talked about it after week 1. We had 16 penalties in that game against us. The last 2 weeks we've had 5 penalties against Centenary and 4 this last week against TLU. So the team and the players are really doing a great job now, just controlling their emotions, locking in, focusing, and not giving up any undeserved or unearned yardage to the opponent. So that's been a great thing to see them grow in the last 4 weeks. And then I knew this season, looking at the non-conference schedule, each week was going to be a step harder and more challenging the previous week. OPSU was more challenging than the Lion game was, and then Centenary definitely more challenging than what OPSU, and then last week TLU presenting different challenges to us. And so we've been able to adjust. The players have been phenomenal in their focus each week, getting ready in practice, and being able to adjust to whatever opponent they're fixing to face.
Absolutely. And so looking at the game, you guys offensively, you guys were able to squeak it out, but there were certain dry spells for you guys in the last contest, and somehow you were able to overcome that and still get over 400 yards of offense. Can you explain how you guys were able to kind of overcome that?
This is going to sound like coach speak, and I don't mean it that way at all, but there's going to be some positives and negatives that happen in every ball game, and there always is. No matter even in the 47-8 game against Lion, there were some negatives that we had to overcome. That's a sign of growth by the players, and very proud of their efforts and in their maturity, and able to say, okay, we didn't go out there and get it in the end zone on that drive. Let's regroup. Let's come back out next time we get the ball, and let's put it in the end zone. If defense gives Abe a touchdown, they're going to come over to the sideline. They're going to regroup. They're going to meet with their coaches, talk about what they need to fix, go back out on the next drive and get a 3-and-out. And that's, to me, a sign of a team that's really growing closer together, but also just growing in their football IQ and in their efforts. They understand it's a 4-quarter ball game. It's not going to be, we're going to jump out to an early lead and then coast. That's not it at all. We got to, they're really learning. We are really learning how to play a full 4-quarter game and overcome some adversity, which is a really positive thing for us.
Absolutely. And so you guys, speaking of adversity,
Yeah.
you're entering ASC play now. So then you're going to open up this weekend against UMHB. And it is going to be a fight for you guys for sure. And everyone's looking forward to seeing that. But the one thing that I kind of keyed in on is that you guys have had in your first 2 home games, the later starts. You're starting at 1 p.m. now here at home for the rest of the way. Does that affect the psyche of your players at all? Is it a tough adjustment?
No, not at all. They know, and especially the veterans who've been around understand that September schedules are usually lighter games because of the heat, and we want to play at night. And then once conference begins, once October hits, we go to a 1 o'clock kickoff. I think they like that, actually. You know, you get up, you have breakfast as a team together, you get down to the field house, you start getting taped up and ready to roll, and then, you know, by 5 o'clock that afternoon, you're back at your dorm room or your apartment and enjoying, you know, another victory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So looking at the crew of UMHB coming in now, lost their last game, and when you look at their team overall, you look at one of the better teams in D3, obviously. Correct. Historically.
Yeah, and they are again.
Yes, sir. And so you look at that, and you look at the team that you guys have. What's the confidence level heading into a matchup like that?
Well, first thing is we don't look at the record.
Yes, sir.
Because 1 and 2 is not indicative of what they are. I mean, they're a top 25 team in the nation right now. And so they're extremely talented. They're extremely well coached. We know that. And so if we sat and looked at history and our maybe lack of success against that program, we're gonna go into that game with the wrong mindset. Our mindset this week is just like it was last week. What do we need to do to get better this week? What do we need to do to get better on defense? What do we need to do to get better on offense? What do we need to do to get better on special teams? That was the focus yesterday's practice. That's going to be today's focus. That's going to be tomorrow's practice focus as well. So that when Saturday gets here, it's not about who we're playing. It's about us and what we're doing on the field. That's part of the process-oriented mindset we've been talking about since fall camp.
Absolutely. And so looking at their team coming in and looking at what you guys have done successfully, what are some of the things that you guys are going to particularly want to key in on coming into a matchup like that?
Take the Centenary game and the TLU game, put them together, and that's what you got this week. You've got a team that in UMHB that is very efficient in their pass game, and extremely efficient in their run game, and they play really good defense. They swarm to the football. Coach Harmon is a former defensive coordinator, and so he's got a standard down in Belton for how he wants defense to be played there. So, yeah, you take the last 2 weeks, and it's been a test in our secondary against Centenary. It's been a test against our run defense against TLU, and now we're going to put those two things together and strap it up against UMHB. So I think the last 2 weeks have given us good preparation as well as an opportunity to see what do we need to get better at in stopping the run, what do we need to get better at in our own passing game. And so those things we've been able to make some corrections on film and see from the game film that we've played and make corrections in meetings and then go out on the practice field to start preparing.
Absolutely. And so my question for you is, are you expecting your star running back Paul Woodard to keep up the 100-yard streak that he's he's on right now?
Glory to God for his success.
Yes, sir.
And I know he gives all the honor and glory to God as well for the success he's having. And he understands. I mean, he'll tell you, be the first to tell you, without the offensive line in front of him, the run game is not what it's been. So it's definitely it takes all 11 out there to do their job. Paul's been reaping some of the benefits, but he's such a humble guy. He's such a hard worker. When the leaders on your team are the hardest workers as well, they're just setting the tone and setting the standard for everyone else. So extremely proud of his efforts thus far, but I know he's excited to start conference play now also.
Absolutely. And, Coach, we will be out there at Arnella Stadium. They are taking on UMHB. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff, so make sure you guys are out there to support the squad. We have reigning ASC Player of the Week, Paul Woodard, coming up on the other side. Stay tuned, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Boy, Hunter, that beef looks good. Don't they know we've been smoking for over 75 years? And we serve barbecue every Saturday.
I reckon they ain't thought about that till now.
He ain't quite ready yet. Y'all come back here, you're next.
At High Horse, we've got a little something for everyone.
Great food served with a heaping helping of our hospitality.
High Horse 1898.
In the heart of downtown Marshall.
Alrighty, folks, as promised, we've got Paul Woodard here on the mic for us here on the ETBU Coaches Show. Paul, thanks for joining us here today, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, sir. He is the reigning ASC Offensive Player of the Week, and you have gotten 100-plus yards all 4 of these games so far. You had 169, a season best in the last matchup against TLU. What has been the key to your success this year?
Oh, man, my offensive line. My offensive line and my wide receivers. My offensive line giving me a great push up front. My wide receivers blocking downfield. And my coach just trusting me, giving me the ball to make things happen.
Yes, sir. And so far you guys sitting at 4-0. You're heading into conference play so far. So what is kind of you guys' confidence level as a team heading into ASC play as you prepare for Saturday's matchup?
Oh, man, it's really, really good, man. Those wins got us great confidence. And as we know, every week goes on, it's going to get tougher and tougher. So those wins are going to give us momentum to come in this week, playing a pretty good team. So that should be good.
Absolutely. And so looking at where you were last season, you were averaging about 5.6 yards per carry. This year's 9.7. Mm-hmm. So from an individual standpoint, what have you done to escalate your play?
Oh, man, just worked hard, man. I mean, picked in the defense, watching film better. And like I said, it's not even all about me. It's my offensive line, man. My guys were young last year, a bunch of sophomores. So now they're older. We got juniors and one senior on the offensive line. So now they know about the game. So it's been opening up a lot for me.
Absolutely. And so just kind of looking at your style of play at your position, what's the one player or players that you followed throughout your career that has helped you to kind of pattern your game? Who's some of your favorite players to watch?
Okay. So this one is going to be like very, very weird. DeAndre Swift from Georgia, played at Georgia. He went to the league. He's really, really good. I just love the game. I love his game. And then I also based it off of LaDainian Thompson. Catch out the backfield, can do everything.
Okay. Yeah, no, those are interesting picks, big time.
Yes, sir.
And so just kind of talk to me about you guys' overall mentality. We kind of talked about how you guys, chemistry-wise, you guys have been fantastic. As far as connecting to your teammates, you guys have been fantastic. In these first 4 games, what are some of those things that you guys have practiced on the side and you have seen kind of help you be successful so far?
Oh, man, our leadership counseling group, man, we come in on Mondays, talk about what we need to fix throughout the week, man, and we build on that throughout the whole week. We got a bunch of younger guys that actually listen to the veterans, and it makes everything so easier.
Okay, awesome. And so as you guys are heading into this matchup with UMHB, from an individual standpoint, you guys have been watching film. You guys have been doing a lot of preparation. What is the one thing that you want to bring to that matchup that you believe that will help your team be successful against the Crew?
Yes, sir. I think me personally, I'm just going to bring leadership and intensity. Man, we bring that into the game, play our game, Then after that, the rest is going to be history.
Okay, yes, sir. All right, and so last question for you: do you think your cousin will ever catch you in yards this year at some point?
I hope he does, but it's going to be a long season.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a long one. Yes, sir. But thanks for joining us here today, guys. We are wrapping up week 5. We'll be back next week for week 6. Make sure you check out ETBU football. They're going to be matching up with UMHB in their first ASC contest of the season. This has been the ETBU Plus Sports Network. We'll see you guys again next time.